Let's ride.
Now to the debt ceiling and the danger of default. Both sides are urging calm and assuring a deal will be reached. But the very real possibility of default lies just days ahead. CBS's Christina Ruffini is on Capitol Hill. Christina, I read negotiators were there until 2 a.m. this morning.
That's right, Adriana, and we just learned that President Biden, who's at Camp David for the weekend, is scheduled to speak with Speaker McCarthy by phone later this evening. As you mentioned, the negotiating teams were here late last night. They were back at it again this morning, only to emerge around midday. We saw Speaker McCarthy, and he said they were taking a Chipotle break. They later returned with chips and queso for the press and went back into that closed-door session. The White House tells CBS News progress is being made, and Republican negotiators say they are getting closer on the big stuff. But there are still some sticking points on some of the smaller, more specific issues, including a GOP ask for work requirements to be attached to nutritional benefits and some other welfare programs, including what's commonly called food stamps.
So, Christina, does a deal appear imminent?
I think everyone is hoping that. I will say both sides seem much more optimistic in the last 24 hours, but they don't have a whole lot of time to get this done. And that's because Speaker McCarthy has promised the standard 72-hour waiting period for lawmakers to review the bill before it goes for a vote. And then it still has to go through the Senate. But the good news is the Treasury Department said this week they have 5 extra days until the U.S. reaches its borrowing deadline. So hopefully they can get it all worked out in time. Adriana?
Christina Ruffini, thank you.
I just got off the phone with the president. I talked to him twice today, and after weeks of negotiations, we have come to an agreement in principle. We still have a lot of work to do, but I believe this is an agreement in principle that's worthy of the American people. It has historic reductions in spending, consequential reforms that will lift people out of poverty into the workforce, rein in government overreach. There are no new taxes, no new government programs. There's a lot more within the bill. We still have more work to do tonight to finish all the writing of it. I do want to take a moment, though. I do want to thank Garrett Graves and Patrick McHenry for all their work on this and for all the work that we're going to continue to do tonight. I know you'll have a lot of questions. I'm not going to take them tonight. Out of respect, I want to brief our members about where we currently are. I expect to finish the writing of the bill, checking with the White House and speaking to the president again tomorrow afternoon, and then posting the text of it tomorrow, and then be voting on it on Wednesday. But thank you for your time, and I think this is very worthy of the American public.
Please him, isn't that true?
Could you get to the speed?
Yes, I intend to, Your Honor. And then, on the afternoon of September 10th, you received a phone call, did you not?
Phone call?
Yes, a phone call!
From who?
After weeks of negotiations and just days before a potential default, Republicans say they have reached an agreement in principle with the White House. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy breaking the news on Twitter before speaking to the press.
We still have a lot of work to do, but I believe this is an agreement in principle that's worthy of the American people. It has historic reductions in spending, consequential reforms that will lift people out of poverty into the workforce, rein in government overreach.
McCarthy saying the deal involves no new taxes and no new government programs. The breakthrough comes just days before June 5th, the date Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned the U.S. could run out of cash to pay all of its bills on time. The showdown over the debt ceiling has been looming over the U.S. economy. Economists had warned a default would have put millions of jobs at risk. Military salaries and Social Security payments would also have been delayed.
Without Social Security and SNAP, not only would we be homeless, my goodness, we wouldn't have money to buy food with.
The deal will now have to pass the Republican-controlled House and a Democrat-controlled Senate.
I expect to finish the writing of the bill, checking with the White House and speaking to the president again tomorrow afternoon, and then posting the text of it tomorrow, and then be voting on it on Wednesday.
McCarthy has pledged to give House members 72 hours to review the legislation before a vote. If and when the bill gets to the Senate, it would take just one lawmaker to possibly delay approval for up to a week. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
built on legends, and that legends are a way of understanding things greater than ourselves, forces that shape our lives, events that defy explanation, individuals whose lives soar to the heavens or fall to the earth. This is how legends are born.